Harmony's Odyssey is a 3D dioramic jigsaw puzzle game with some hidden object elements thrown in for good measure. The idea is that as you wander from level to level, they're small dioramas that you can rotate around and zoom in and out of to see what's going on in the level, and there's normally lots of characters doing different things. Harmony, the main witch, is trying to capture her cat and keep it safe because it swallowed one of her magic wands and is causing carnage. And there's invariably lots of other things going on in the environment, such as people chasing you, or people having a little argument and a spat, or it might be water fountains that are not able to spew water into the fountain until you join them up together. And so what you're doing is seeing what's in the world already joined up, and then picking up the tiles and swapping them around. It's not a slider puzzle per se, it's more about picking up and dropping jigsaw pieces so that you can then combine things together. Where Harmony's Odyssey really then takes a good step forward compared to a lot of other puzzle and jigsaw games that I've played in recent memory, is that once you kind of get puzzle tiles next to each other and they should be together, you can press and hold on them and it will highlight up in orange everything that's together, touching each other, that makes sense. And that it should be there because it starts to highlight where things are out of place and sorted and helps you narrow down some of the things that you need to swap. This is crucial because as the levels get bigger and more varied and more complex, sometimes it's just swapping around a couple of almost blank walls so that you can then finish a level off, but they still need to be in the right place to complete the level. So by pressing and holding something and seeing that amber orange glow on all of the places that are right, quote unquote, or at least together as a clump, then it really, really helps solve things. What's cool with this as well is that if, say, you've got 2 or 3 or 4 cubes together, when you press and hold it, you can pick up the whole lot and shift them over. So it stops the busy work of picking up one thing, slotting it over, picking up the next thing, slotting it over. And you can shift, say, like if you've got a quadruple like pyramid glass structure or a pool or a pond, you can pick it all up and move it all together, and then it will sort everything else to the other side. As this is all going on, the story plays out in front of you, and I was actually quite charmed by the story because it's got cutscenes that show Harmony and your cat going absolutely nuts, causing carnage and chaos everywhere, whilst Cerebus and the Bulls home stadium American football team are all like chasing you around. There's a really angry security guard that looks like a Cyclops pig type thing. They're all getting very angry at the fact that you keep causing chaos to their world, and so as the levels get more complicated, you have more enemies to kind of keep out of your way. Harmony's Odyssey also has a few different types of levels as well. So you have these traditional kind of 3D environments where you're looking at it from a top-down perspective largely. But there are also levels that are like a side-on view from a very tall building that you're building upwards, which takes a little bit of getting used to. And then some of my favourite levels were the ones where you're actually building 3 or 4 floors of a building. And so you have to finish floor 1 and then move up to floor 2, and you get to kind of see where each of the floor is kind of moving around and building up a whole structure that you can then zoom in and out of and rotate around, which is quite cool. Outside of that, there are also additional mini games that crop up as part of the campaign, but also with unlocking additional bonus games that you can play in the arcade mode. Some of these are spot the difference puzzles, some are finding specific objects or hidden objects. Some of them are not quite slider puzzles, but more like really babyish stealth puzzles, where you need to be able to move multiple characters around and join them up so that they can then bash out opponents out of the way on the football pitch, for example. And whilst they are a nice distraction, they're not gating your progress because they're actually quite easy to play. Now, I played Harmony's Odyssey on easy mode to begin with, and I felt like that was a good introduction for me, because then when you go through to medium and hard mode, what it does is it just mixes and matches everything up even more than what it was before. And so what it means is that you've got more moves to get confused. But If you really enjoy like hardcore puzzle games, especially if you've like bought those jigsaws where it's just like a pot of beans, then I'd recommend probably going straight into hard mode, because that will be your jam. For everyone who's either got young kids that are going to be intrigued by the bright, vibrant colours, the art style, the really, really cutesy, over-the-top, cartoony music, I think probably the easier and medium modes will more than keep you happy as you go through the about 100-ish puzzles that are unlockable throughout the game. The last thing I wanted to say is that I didn't really enjoy Harmony's Odyssey when I played it as a demo in Steam Next Fest, and I think it was because I didn't quite click with some of the quality of life move features that were going around. They must have passed me by. And so I'm delighted to say that my impression of the full game of Harmony's Odyssey was much better than the demo, and so yeah, I'll eat a little bit of humble pie here. The game is much, much better in its full release compared to what it was in the demo for me personally, and so it deserves a good old thumbs up from me. Written review over on higherplayinggames.com. If you're looking for some cute, cosy jigsaw puzzling, Harmony's Odyssey has you covered. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.